Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, and welcome back to Bariatrics and Beyond, the podcast where we talk about life before, during, and beyond bariatric surgery. So grab yourself a healthy snack and a drink because today you're talking with me. I'm talking to you and my co-host Nicole, and we're going to talk about how to sustain a healthy lifestyle and healthy habits after having weight loss surgery. Okay? So I see a lot on our Facebook support group, almost, guys, I'm going to say, if not daily, several times a week, people saying, I've fallen off the wagon. I want to start the pouch reset. Can someone post the pouch reset diet? Now, this is just me and my opinion, you guys. I think a pouch reset diet is BS. To be honest, we had this surgery, and I can probably speak for 90% of us. We've been on every yo-yo diet. You will do some crazy restrictive diet for a short amount of time. You're going to lose weight the first week or two because you're losing water weight. Let's be honest, the first week. You're like, I've lost 5 pounds in the first week. So you keep doing that. This, all it does is kind of really screw up your metabolism, right?
Right.
It's not a diet that you can maintain or sustain. It's not
Forever,
sustainable. Yeah. Like it's not. So going into this journey, it is about a lifestyle change. And I know that sounds so cliche because I was one of those girls that hated hearing that too. I was like, lifestyle change. But it's legit. Like it really is. You have to be able to implement things that you can sustain rather than
you can do 100 pouch resets if you want and you'll lose 15 pounds.
And then you're going to gain 20.
And then you're going to go do another pouch reset because it's not resetting your pouch.
No.
It's not taking it. It's not shrinking it. But I mean, if you
no matter what it is that you do, whether it be a pouch reset diet or whether it be like I'm going to go on the liquid diet or I'm going to go on the this or that.
You're going to lose weight on it.
Exactly. And I hear a lot of people saying, I've fallen off the wagon or I'm just getting so hungry. And I don't know what to do. How many calories can I eat a day? Like that's another thing that I'm like, I think is also BS. Is like, how many calories can I eat? I think you just need to fuel your body. Figure out what that looks like. Stay away from slider foods. And if you don't know what a slider food is.
Anything that you can eat more of.
Pretty much. Yep. Basically stuff that has no nutrition value that's going to slide straight through your pouch like chips and candy and popcorn and ice cream and
cake.
It's just
you don't feel full when you eat that stuff.
Nope.
You can just keep eating.
Yep. So people
you don't even feel it touch the sides.
So when I ask people, I'm like, well, what are you eating? Are you try to eliminate snacking? The first thing they say is, I need to do better with my snacking. So
then there's your answer.
So if you're hungry, don't go for a snack. Don't go for a protein bar. Don't go for a protein shake. Go for a real meal. If it means you eating 4 or 5 meals a day.
Right.
Go, like my trick is have a rotisserie chicken on hand.
Right.
If you're hungry, instead of going to snack on a protein bar, go
have some chicken.
Go pull off some chicken. I guarantee you're going to stay fuller for longer.
Yes, absolutely.
It's going to fuel you better. You're not going to be as hungry.
That's actually a really smart. That's actually a really, really smart thing to make sure you have a rotisserie chicken on hand. Because I mean, you don't need to. And if you eat the chicken first, you're not going to eat it. You're not going to be able to eat a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to feel that restriction. You're going to feel. So if you have that and you just shred that chicken and just leave it in your fridge, and when you feel that, and you're probably going to get bored of chicken. But
it works.
But that's what I'm saying.
You're going to feel much better.
You're going to feel better. You're going to look better.
Some chicken than what you are having a protein snack.
Having a protein
or like
bar.
having a candy coated thing that says protein on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All that does it triggers your
dopamine levels.
It makes you more hungry. Like
right.
They really do, because now you've got like this sugar craving and you crave more sugar, you crave more things, and people think that their pouch is stretched. I mean, it does lose a little bit of its tightness because, over time, it's healed and so on and so forth. But people think, oh, my pouch is stretched back out. I can eat so much more. No, what are you eating?
Eating more of. That's right.
What it is.
Because you've gotten a little bit lazy. And I'm just going to say that I think almost 100%, 80, I'm going to even go 100% of the people that have always said to me, oh, it's either not working or I need a revision or whatever. And then when you ask them, what are you doing differently? Well, I've done this, or I haven't been as
bad habits. They say.
So you, like, everybody knows why it's not working.
Yeah, you just got to be honest with yourself.
That's right. You're just not being accountable for your own actions. Like you're not working as hard as you should have. You're not physically working. I'm just saying, like, you're not following the rules that were set out for you.
And guys,
it's not an easy fix. It's not easy.
But there's no shame in that. We are all human. We all fall off. I'm as strict as they come. I fall off.
That's right.
Like we're human. We're
but what
human,
you can't do is blame it on something else.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like you can't say, well, it didn't work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Everybody will be successful if you follow the rules.
Yeah. 100%
right?
Some of failure is due to non-compliance.
Right. And some of us, it's unfortunate, but don't have to, and don't follow the rules as strict as some other people follow the rules, right? And might have two very different results and, results. And it's,
some people just have to work that a little bit harder.
And it's
you just got to look at food and you gain weight. That's me. Right. I'm one of them. You're the opposite.
And some people might get luckier, and might not have to work as hard, or can, like, if they do have a little bit of a slip up, or if they're not following it properly, they're not putting on weight. Yeah. You won't know if you're that type of person until it happens. Yeah.
Is
unfortunately,
it fair? No,
of course it's not.
It sucks, but sometimes.
And so are genetics. Genetics ain't fair either.
Yeah,
but that's just what happens.
Yeah, but you have to know your body, learn your body, learn what fuels you. Because, I guarantee.
And be honest with yourself.
Just be honest
with yourself.
Yeah.
And it's okay if those things happen.
It is totally okay. We're human. We all fall off the wagon.
Because you can change
and
it.
People will say, I'm so disappointed in myself. And I'm like, but you know what? Just jump back on.
Give yourself a break.
Just jump back on. If you've had, time off, jump back on. Is it hard to stay consistent? Absolutely. Does it feel crap when you are not consistent? Does it feel crap when you're off the wagon? All of those things.
Yes.
That you feel you feel disappointed. So doing the hard thing, which is like being consistent, is hard, but you feel so much better. So use that feeling of like how you feel once you are back on the wagon, once you are consistent, once you are seeing progress. Use that to fuel you to keep going.
Right.
A lot of people say to me, Kayla, how are you so motivated every day? I'm not motivated every day. Absolutely not. I wish I was. But
it would be easy.
Oh yeah, it would be easy. But I'm disciplined, and that is something that
That's the difference.
I learned. I didn't just become disciplined. Like I had to. I'm 7 years post-op, but I had to learn discipline. The way I learned that was doing it on the days I didn't want to. Those days where I'm like, oh man, I want a bag of chips, or I'm too tired. I do not want to go to the gym today. The days that I dragged my butt to the gym, the days that I made that choice to eat the chicken over the chips, even though I didn't enjoy it at the time, and maybe the workout I did at the gym was probably not 100%, but I did it.
Yeah.
Like those are the days that count, believe it or not. The days you do it, even if it's a 50%, you're only giving you 50%, and you're giving your 100% that day. You know what I mean? So
you gave 50% more if you would have stayed at home.
That is because you are building a habit.
Mm-hmm.
So those days when you don't want to do it and you almost take a day off or you almost fall back into bad habits, that's really crucial. Just keep pushing. And I think I document like a lot of my workouts on social media. I don't really document like what do I eat in a day, because I think that can also be damaging to people as well, because
they think that they'll have to eat like that.
Exactly. We're all different. So I always say to people, find what works for you. Right. And by that, I mean, like, how does your body respond to the food you're putting in it? You know what I mean?
Yep.
So like find something that works for you, something that you can sustain and maintain. Because I guarantee you what I do every day, you can't sustain that.
Oh yeah, there's no way.
You know what I mean? But for me, I love eating the same thing every day.
Yep.
So there is no right or wrong way, but there's the right or wrong way for you. So try and figure that out. But I will 100% say that no matter who you are, no matter if you have your good genetics or if you have to work harder, the snacking is and the grazing
what's going to get you.
Is what's going to get you. So when you are feeling snackish, a little peckish, a little hungry,
go get the chicken.
Go get a meal. Go eat a real balanced meal. Go have.
Because you'll only be able to eat a quarter of it anyway.
Have a little bit of rice. Like carbs are not the enemy either. They're your energy. But like go for whole food. Go for whole foods versus snacks. Guarantee you're going to be fuller. And you're going to feel that restriction that you thought has disappeared.
Didn't exist anymore.
It's still there. I promise it's still there. You're just eating
the wrong stuff.
The wrong type of food. But yeah, so I guess that's my biggest take on today is there are going to be days it's hard. There are going to be days you don't want to do it. They're the days that matter the most. We're all human. We all fall off. just jump back on. You haven't
It's not the end. It's just the end. It's just the end of today. Tomorrow is a different day.
Mm-hmm. Yep, just jump back on. And I get a lot of people saying, I need to work out more. My goal is to work out 5 days a week or even work out 3 days a week or to start walking. I put something on the Facebook group the other day and I said, what's everyone's goals for the month? And almost everybody said to be more active, to get out, to get walking, to buy a treadmill, to this, to that. And to that I say, absolutely, movement is very, very important. But don't wait until you buy that treadmill. Don't wait until you get that elliptical. Don't think that there's a magical set of weights or a magical product you need to buy.
Yeah, walk around the block maybe.
Use what you got. And that's what I said. So
that's what you did, I remember.
100% I did. Someone said, my goal is to buy a walking pad. I just got to buy it. And then I got to use it. And I'm like, don't buy a walking pad. Don't buy a treadmill. First thing to do, go out and walk your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Go out and even just walk your street. Go up your street and go down your street.
Yep.
And do that until you build a habit.
Then go buy your walker.
Then go buy your walking pad because you want to make sure you're getting your money's worth. I'm cheap, you guys. I'm not going to go buy a walking pad. I'm not going to buy a Peloton. I am like, no. I am going to
make sure I want to walk.
I'm going to use it. And this isn't going to be a clothing rack. I'm just not going to put my clothes on.
Yeah.
Throw my clothes over the arm of the treadmill. You know what I mean? Like I want to make sure I get my money's worth. So that's what I did. I started in my neighborhood.
Yep, I remember.
And then it started to get really hot because it was during COVID. And then it was like summer and I was like, woof, I'm going to die. But I didn't even start walking the block. I started walking the street because I lived in a cul-de-sac. So I'd go up the street, down the street, up the street, down the street.
Yeah.
And every night, and I'd wait till the night time because I didn't like people watching me. And I would do another lap as each night progressed, another lap, another. And then the daytime came along and then I would do the block.
Yep.
And then so once I built that habit, I think I probably did it for, I want to say maybe a month or two.
I remember you walking up and down the street.
I sure did. And you know what I did? I then bought a treadmill. But again, thrifty. I'm not going to buy a Peloton. I went on Facebook Marketplace and I found the cheapest one and it was $125.
Yep.
And boy, did I get my money's worth. And
yeah, you did.
Yeah, and that's when I started to learn how to jog was on the treadmill. Because
a minute at a time, just a minute.
A minute. And guys, that's a fantastic workout. It doesn't matter how fast you're going. Like for me, I think I jog at like maybe a 4.2. Yeah. But like I would jog for 1 minute and then I'd bring the speed down and I'd walk for 1 minute.
Because then you just got enough time to catch your breath.
Catch your breath and then you go again. And then
the next time you jog, you know it's only a minute.
Exactly. And that it just
next minute, 20 minutes later.
Yeah.
And you don't even need to go for 20, but still.
Yeah, but I did 20 minutes, so 10 and 10.
Mm-hmm.
And that 20 minutes flies by.
Yeah.
Your heart rate is going like this. Shoom, 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 shoom. By the 18th minute, dripping in sweat. And I'm not a sweater.
Yeah.
Dripping in sweat. So I challenge anybody who is just starting off, even if you're not a jogger just yet, even just up your pace. You know what I mean? Like walk or try and then power walk.
Yeah, try that for 1 minute. Try the power walk for 1 minute if you can't physically
just up your speed a bit, you know?
Mm-hmm. A fair bit different from what your walking pace is though, you know, like a very quick walk.
Yeah, even if you then bring your walking pace down if you can't, you know what I mean? So
yes,
like even
exactly.
if it's just like a walking pace of 1 and then up it to a 2 or a 3, you know what I mean? So
absolutely.
But just try that where you elevate your heart rate and then it goes up and down. And then I guarantee I will put money on it. Your scale, the weight will just drop off you. But here's another thing as well with the scale. It is such...
Stop looking at it.
It's a thief of joy. Like...
That's hilarious.
It really is.
I don't think I've ever heard that expression in my life.
It will rob you of your joy because do you know how many people start at like, I've been working out and I've been eating better and the scale's not moved or it's gone up a pound or 2?
Yeah. It's a mind game.
It is.
It's a massive mind game.
It will deter you.
Yeah, it will.
It can deter you because you're thinking you're doing everything right and the scale either isn't moving or it's going in the wrong direction.
And then it messes with
you. You're like, well, what am I doing wrong? You're not doing nothing wrong. If you are doing all the right things, you're not doing nothing wrong. So don't let the scale determine that.
The only thing you're doing wrong is keeping the scale.
I agree. Because at the end of the day, we want a healthy lifestyle.
Right.
We want to feel better.
Mm-hmm.
We don't care what the number says on the scale.
Well, some people do, and that's the...
But who's going to know the number? You're not walking around with the scale lit above you.
That's what I'm saying. You're the only person that knows what the number on the scale is. So you have to change the way you think about the scale.
It does not define your success.
Yeah, and it only, not even damages, but it only deters you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everybody else might think and you look good and you're losing all this weight and then you're like, I stood on the scale and I didn't. You know what I mean? Like it's only playing with you. So get rid of the numbers.
But but on the flip side, when you see the pounds drop, the scale makes you happy,
Right,
and you
it
keep
does.
going. So I mean, it's a give and take.
Yeah,
You
it's
know
a
what I mean?
double-edged
But
sword
like,
in a way.
it is a double-edged sword. But I would just say take your measurements, because your measurements will change. Scale might not.
Yeah.
You know. And also, like for me, I got down to my skinniest, and I didn't look good.
Right.
But I remember when I started to get into like my weight, when I started weight training, I kind of had to in my head be like, the scale might go up, but actually, to be honest, I didn't even own a scale, so I wouldn't know. But I know that I'm going to probably
get heavier,
and my body's going to look different.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be.
You're going to put on size.
I'm going to put on size. Exactly.
Not necessarily weight.
Exactly. But it reshaped my body.
Yeah.
Like it really did. But it was such a mind game, because for so long I was just chasing being skinny.
Yep.
I wanted to be skinny. I'm not skinny. I'm far from skinny now. But that's because I started, training.
And then also retraining your mind to not wanting to be skinny, but wanting to be fit or wanting to be strong.
Yes.
Yeah.
So strong over skinny, which each to their own, you know what I mean? But it's
whatever you want to be.
Whatever you want to be. But I think at the end of the day, we all want to be healthy.
Right.
So just keep in mind that skinny doesn't necessarily mean healthy.
That's right.
Because I can guarantee you, like, I'm heavier now than what I was at my skinniest, but I'm way more fit now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I couldn't even lift a quarter of what I was like lifting. Remember, like, I've always been a weakling. You know what I mean? You're like, okay, there's got no upper body strength. Now I'm like, I can do so much.
Right.
But I'm not as skinny as I used to be.
Right.
And that's okay.
That's exactly right. And it's almost like, if you are that skinny and you don't have upper body strength, but you are okay with that and you want to be skinny, like your body can still look all right. But like you said, you didn't feel like you looked your best at that either.
I didn't.
And you're still quite thin. You know what I mean? But you're athletic thin. So it's a completely different shape.
Yep.
But you're still a fairly light. Person.
Yeah. And again, some people don't necessarily care to be athletic. Some people don't. Some people want
whatever you chase, whatever goal you have, you just chase your goal.
Exactly. But I think no matter what body shape you want, all of our goals are to be feeling the best.
Right.
The scale does not determine. That number on the scale doesn't determine how you feel. It will determine how you feel here.
Because and it's a mental thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, but talk about your weight loss journey, Nicole? Like, how was it easy for you? Did you regain? Because a lot of people regain.
It was easier for me than it was for you. Yep. Absolutely. I didn't have 200 pounds to lose. I probably had 80, You
didn't struggle with obesity your whole life either.
No, I was a little bit, I was heavier in high school, but I wasn't obese. I was a little bit heavier, but I was always sort of like athletic, kind of heavy.
Yeah.
And then after school, like I lost like a bunch of weight. I was always out. I was always dancing. So I was always kind of fit looking, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then over the last couple of years, put on maybe 60, 80 pounds maybe. And, weight loss surgery wasn't even something that I'd considered. But after you had gone through it, like it was fresh in my head. So I was like, I'm just doing it. So I did it. And then my weight just fell off, basically. I would say like within the first couple of months, even maybe the first 6 months, I was probably at where I would have been happy to have been. Even 3 months in, I was happy at where I was, 6 months in, I was happy. I was even happy with those. But then over the course of the next 6 months, it was a pound here, a pound there, a couple of pounds here, a couple of pounds there. I think I went down to like, I remember when I felt like I looked my fittest, I think I was probably like, I don't know if it was 128 or 138 pounds, whatever it was, but I was muscly as well. I was quite toned. And I remember at that point, like I knew that I was toned, but I didn't feel big, but I still felt fairly solid, because I wasn't ever really stick thin. So for me, it was just, I wanted to, everyone just wants to get back to that photo that they've got of themselves where they're like, oh, I just want to get back to that. So I was happy with that. But then I got down to about 130 and I'm like, okay, this is where I kind of wanted to be. But then I lost about another 15 pounds. So I got down to about 114, 115 and I was like, oh, this is pretty skinny. And that's when I noticed, when I noticed that my skin, that's when I noticed that my skin was a little bit saggy, a little bit softer. So that was probably too skinny for me. Now, it's not like I could necessarily control it either. Like I was dancing quite a lot. There wasn't a lot of exercise, but there was a lot of movement on my part. So I felt like, and
you're
I probably
burning more than
I think I was burning.
So you're
more
at a huge calorie deficit, but just because you're going out having fun. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
right.
Not because you're like,
Not
I need to go to the gym.
Yeah,
today.
it wasn't like
and
that
when we
for me.
say dancing, Nicole likes to go out like to the club and have a dance.
Like
we're not talking about, we live in Vegas, so we're not talking about entertaining dancing.
Yeah, so, I just like to, I like
clear
to,
that up.
I like to have a bit of a dance on the dance floor. So, and that could go for long periods of time. So that was my exercise, right? So I was probably dancing more than I was eating, to be honest with you, because I didn't really eat a lot. But then I would say, even just now, I just got back from Australia, and I think I put on like 6 pounds in the first like 2 weeks, a week or two. But what happens, that 15 pounds for me does a lot, because what happens at that point is, so I can't even tell you the last time I weighed myself. I know I'm not 115 anymore, because I think I went from an extra small to a small, and it still sort of goes, in your head you go, oh, I'm not an extra small anymore. But what I find what happens to me is, when I do play with those 15 pounds, my arms fill out a little bit more and my butt fills out a little bit more. So I found that I was less paranoid about some of the clothes that I was wearing, because, my arms were my favorite things at one point, because they were so muscular, and I had shape and definition. And then once I lost that last 15, like they were quite loose and I could see crepey skin. So I found when I went back home and I did put on that weight, I was a little bit more free with my clothing, because I couldn't necessarily see how soft my arms were at that point. I still looked like I had shape. So that last 15, I've sat at that for the last little while. I go up and down between those 15, but I haven't had much of a regain. If I do, it's probably within those 15 pounds.
Right. But also you just said that within the first 3 months, you're pretty much like kind of happy and at your goal. Because
I was at the lower BMI range, you know what I mean? I was like right at the 30, 31, 32.
When you're on social media and people are like, oh, I've lost X amount of weight in such a short amount of time, or I'm at my goal only 6 months post-op. You got to remember, we all don't start at the same starting point. So keep that in mind. Don't compare your journey to anyone else's. Nicole needed to lose 80 pounds. I needed to lose 200 and something pounds.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So I'm going to lose, at a different pace than what Nicole's going to lose.
That's right.
Nicole's going to stall out sooner than I'm going to stall out.
And it's like, the last 6 months, let's just say, you probably lost like 50 pounds in the last 6 months. Let's just say that's what, I don't know what it was for your, you did 6 months and then your second 6 months, right? The second half of the year. Kayla probably lost like another 50 pounds in those 6 months maybe. And I probably lost 10.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? So like, look at that.
You cannot compare your stats with anyone else's stats, which is really hard to do, because we're all in that Facebook group and we're like, wait, I see people going, I've only lost 10 pounds in 2 weeks. And
I'm like, I've just lost 2 pounds in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't start the same.
Don't compare yourself. As long as you're doing everything correctly and EOC sets you up for success, as long as you're just following the guidelines, you will be successful. So that's my message today. Just follow the guidelines. You'll be successful. Cut out the snacking. If you are going to snack, make sure it's something kind of balanced and whole food. Don't get anything from a packet. That's my biggest thing. When I started training with my trainer, the first thing on that list, he said, cut out all packet food. And that meant the protein chips, the protein snacks, anything in a packet, get rid of it. So if you're going to snack on a fruit, snack on, something like that. But I honestly recommend add another meal.
Yeah.
Add another meal. If you're hungry.
Have some chicken.
And even by the end, I was eating 4 meals a day on my program. And he would say to me, if you're hungry, because I'm like, I'm going to have another protein shake at the end of the day. He's like, no, if you're hungry again, repeat meal number 1.
Right.
It's like, if you need a 5th meal or a 6th meal, go eat a meal. He's like, it's going to keep you fuller, provide you more nutrients. So that's my tip for you guys for this week. So if you have fallen off the wagon, don't worry, you're not alone. We've all been there. We all do it. We get on, we get off, we get on. Wagons got wheels. They keep going around. You just jump back on. It's never too late. You haven't failed. Your sleeve, your bypass hasn't failed you. I guarantee it's not stretched back out to where it used to be. You're probably just eating the wrong thing. So get back on track. And, if you need help in the group, tag me. If you need a pep talk, I got you, girl. Boy, whatever. Man, woman, I got you. We got you. We're all here. We're all human and it happens, okay? So jump back on the wagon, jump off the scale and you'll be fine. All right. Thank you, guys. And we'll see you next week on Bariatrics and Beyond. Bye.